Hi again, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Brie, and in today's video I am going to be showing you all of the games that I have for my PlayStation consoles. As you can see, there's quite a bit to get through, and I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I think I'm gonna go by console or maybe by game title, I guess. Yeah. I'm sitting on the floor because I feel like it. And I'm dressed too professionally for this actually. This is something I would actually wear to work, but I like this top. It's really flowy and I've got this nice little bangle bracelet. We have the Hello Kitty glasses, a bit of mascara which is a bit obscured by the glasses, and some Hello Kitty lipstick because as always I like looking presentable. Why not? So I'm gonna begin with I'm gonna begin with all of my Tekken games. So there's quite a number of Tekken games I'm gonna get through. So first off, we've got Tekken 3, PlayStation 1, which is in a plastic case with a platinum disc. Tekken 3 was the first game that I grew up with from early childhood. So I started getting into gaming back in the mid to late 2000s when I was like 7-8 years old, and it was my dad that introduced me to PlayStation games. Although my dad is in his 60s and he is retired now, he still plays PlayStation games to this day. His favourites are usually the FIFA series and Tekken, and on occasion he is featured doing some matches with me, mainly on Tekken 7. There's a couple of Tekken 1 and Tekken 3, but the arcade versions on Main for Droid, and we've done some Soul Calibur ones as well. But Tekken 3 is the first Tekken game I grew up with, and my main, obviously, in Tekken is Anna, minus Tekken 4 because sadly she's reduced to a brief mention in Nina's story, which still pisses me off. And in the first Tekken, she was not playable in the arcade version, but if you have main, you can use cheats to play as her, which is what I do, obviously. So after Tekken 3, we have Tekken Tag Tournament, the first one to be specific. This is one of my top 3 in the Tekken series because most of the characters from the first 3 games are brought back. All my mains are in it as well, which are Nina, Michelle, Anna and June. So that is a bonus for me. And this is the box art with Kazuya. So this is the Tekken 2 version of Kazuya because technically the characters that were not in Tekken 3 had their Tekken 2 appearances. Some of them, like June and Michelle, had bonus costumes as well. And then this is also the back. This is, of course, the European version of the game because you obviously have different versions depending on your region. And you have your platinum disc in here as well. This is something I really like with retro games, knowing that you can go to a game store, you can get your disc, your manuals, and your really cool box art as well. Then we have Tekken 4, which comes in this case. So I got this, I think my dad bought this one, and I grew up with this in my childhood as well. You have some manuals. So this manual, I think this one, oh my god, this one features quite a few other retro gaming titles. But I haven't really looked at this manual much. I mainly looked at this one, which tells you a bit more about the game itself. You've got the setup process, as well as some rules, hints, and of course you've got some biographies for your characters, at least the starter characters of the roster, because you have certain characters that are hidden. Now, Tekken 4 was described as the black sheep of the Tekken series because there's certain things in this game that weren't really explored previously, like 3D settings. And also another thing is a lot of legacy characters like Anna, as mentioned, were not in this game but were brought back in Tekken 5, which is quite interesting. And I think with Tekken 4, there was kind of a more, I don't know if dystopian is the right word, but there was a bit of a darker atmosphere really. And I felt like this game focused a little more on the martial arts side rather than the supernatural side that you get in the titles later after that game, if that makes sense as well. And of course, I suppose a lot of people criticize the darker tones. I suppose a lot of people criticize Jin in particular because in Tekken tournaments that feature Tekken 4, Jin was considered a very broken character. And I'm gonna be honest, maybe it's because I'm used to playing Jin in Tekken 3 and the first tag tournament game. I find it really hard to play as Jin in Tekken 4 because I'm not used to his traditional karate moveset. I think it's because I'm so used to the Mishima Kazuma style, and because I'm a decent Jun Kazuma player as well, most of Jin's moves are familiar to me. So it's like I'm having to learn the character again. It's kind of how I felt about playing as Anna after Tekken Tag Tournament, as in the first game. When she was back in Tekken 5, I've had to learn her moveset again because I'm so used to the Tekken 3 and Tag Tournament 1 moveset. It's like you're going back on a bike and you haven't been on it in years or something, I don't know. So then we have Tekken 5. Technically, this is an underrated game, or I think this game is well received. But after this game, the storyline fell flat for me. And one particular thing that really bothers me is Asuka Kazuma, who replaced Jun, had so much potential in the story because she had connections to, well, the Kazuma side of the family, obviously, given the surname. And in her ending, she managed to, I guess, heal Jin from the devil gene. But then there was this whole fucking comedic element. And then in Dark Resurrection, Lily, oh god, she fucking comes in and just ruins Asuka's storyline as well. So Tekken 5, I'm not going to say it's bad, but not really my favourite in terms of story because they just kind of, well, you know. But one thing I like about this game is you have the arcade versions of the first 3 Tekkens, which is a bonus for people who liked Tekken in the 90s. My dad played Tekken since the 90s, which is another little detail I think I forgot to mention. And also this game introduced customization as well, so you could basically use fight money to get some really cutesy like costumes. I have a blue Cheongsam for Anna that I purchased. It's like a, I don't know if I could call it a pastel blue one. It's kind of like a cyan Cheongsam with a nice little Japanese hairstyle because I like doing cutesy customs for the girls in the game. I really love doing cutesy customs. And if you watch some of my Dark Resurrection gameplay, which I record on my phone using a PlayStation Portable emulator, I've done some really cutesy pink customs for the female characters, the girls as well. I think it was either Asuka or Xiaoyu, I can't remember, but I did like a Gyaru type custom with pink in it, which is really cute. And then after Tekken 5, Tekken 6. This game introduced 2 characters that I'm not really a fan of, Lars and Alyssa. Alyssa's kind of aesthetic is nice, but her voice kind of annoys me. I don't really like overly cutesy characters. Xiaoyu's tolerable. You know, like, she's not bad, but I don't know, a lot of cutesy characters in games kind of annoy me because of their voices. And it's the same thing with like little kid characters, but there's some exceptions. It's the same thing with like teen characters. Most of them kind of annoy me. There's some exceptions that I like Ash Crimson from King of Fighters and Lucio Roche from Dolaku Tenshi, which is an underrated 1998 game created by Saikyo, which inspired King of Fighters 99. Because obviously Roche, or Roche, I think is pronounced Roche, like Rocher, as in Ferrero Rocher, if that the chocolate. He is an Italian assassin, so that is an exception for teen characters in games that I like. But Tekken 6 also has customization and such. This is for the PlayStation 3. Story-wise, it's left to be desired in my opinion. So yeah. And then I've also got Tekken Hybrid, which comes with an HD edition of Tekken Tag Tournament, as in the first game. You've got a demo of Tekken Tag Tournament 2, which I need to showcase afterwards. And then you've got Tekken Blood Vengeance, the movie, which features Xiaoyu and Alyssa as main characters. Other characters who are featured, obviously you've got Jin, you've got Kazuya, you've got Heihachi. The fight between the three was pretty epic in the movie. You've got Anna, of course, my queen, my favourite, and Nina. They had a pretty good fight and I liked the soundtrack in this as well. Lee was featured, Ganryu was featured, Panda was featured as well. And there's an original character, I think his name is Shin Kamiya. If I'm wrong, please correct me, just because it's been a while since I watched the movie. But yeah, you get some really cool features in this. Free for the price of one. And we have Tekken Tag Tournament 2, which again brings back most of the characters from the first 6 games, as in the canonical titles. There's other obscure Tekken titles as well, like Tekken Card Challenge, which I believe is a Japanese only game that came out sometime in the 90s, which is based off Tekken 3. There's Tekken Advance, which I briefly covered as well, but I don't think I'm going to cover that again because I don't know. And Tekken 3D Prime Edition, I've kind of covered it, but the controls are funny. But this also has nice customization features. You've got certain characters that are brought back as DLC, like Jun Kazama, Michelle Chang as well, who did not appear in a canonical title after Tekken 2, although she was featured in Julia's Ending in Tekken 3. But the tag tournament appearances of Michelle don't really count in terms of story because those are non-canonical titles. But I like this game as well. This is probably like top 5, but I like the first tag tournament better. Maybe it's a preferential bias, I don't know. So now we're gonna move on to some other titles. I think I'm gonna move on to the Soul Calibur titles because everything is kind of all over the place right now. So yeah, we're gonna move on to my Soul Calibur games. So this one I purchased, I think it was last year or the year before when I went to my local gaming market, which I'm going to again tomorrow. I don't dislike this game, but my favourite character, Sungmina, is hidden. So you have to go through Weapon Master, is that what it's called? Again, my mind is a bit fuzzy because there's no script and I'm a bit all over the place. But there's a mode called Weapon Master where you can unlock different weapons for all the characters and hidden characters. So Sungmina was featured as a hidden character, as well as Sophitia, and I think Lizard Man is a hidden character as well. There's another hidden character I'm just trying to kind of remember off memory. It wasn't Astaroth because I'm pretty sure he was a starter character unless I'm wrong, because he technically replaced Rock in the Soul Calibur series, if that makes sense. So he's his equivalent, if you know what I mean. But I know Sungmina and Sophitia were not really in the arcade version of this. They were kind of added in last minute, and I think you could sort of tell by the models. And also in the case of Mina, she more or less has Killick's moveset, but Killick's moveset is hers. because she was featured before him, if that makes sense. I'm really sorry if I don't make sense. I'm shit at talking in front of the camera, but this is okay. But you could tell certain characters were kind of thrown in last minute. But my favourite Soul Calibur game at the moment is Soul Calibur 3, mainly because this introduces some customization features. So obviously, besides unlocking weapons and hidden characters, you can also edit your character's costumes by selecting different colours, and you can even make custom characters. So once I hopefully get a capture card sorted out at some point, I want to showcase like my customs and maybe do some playthroughs, but I really love Soul Calibur 3. And for me, this is the best version of Mina, Soul Mina, who is of course my main in this game, because I don't know, the aesthetics make sense. I love her playstyle. So yeah, I really like Soul Calibur 3. And the new characters that were introduced, like Tira and Zalamel, I think that's how you pronounce it, they're pretty cool as well. So you've got some nice, cool new characters in Soul Calibur 3. I love Soul Calibur 3. Then we have Soul Calibur 4, which is okay, but some of the character models in this game, like Mina's, are a little off. I'm not really sure why, but I don't really like most of the character models. You do have some interesting customization features, but it really bothers me that characters like Mina are hidden. Why is it that Namco likes to make their legacy characters hidden in Tekken and Soul Calibur? Why? That really bothers me. But I don't mind this game, but it's not my favourite in the series. So Soul Calibur 5, we're not really getting into that one. I was going to purchase it when I was off for Christmas. No, I wasn't off for Christmas, but I remember seeing it during the Christmas period when I was working in my old job. And I was going to get it, and then I'm just like, nah, because my main is not even in it. So okay, and speaking of Soul Calibur games, we have Soul Calibur 6, which I almost forgot to mention. PlayStation 4. I don't really play this one much, and one thing that really bothers me about modern gaming is knowing that you have to pay for certain modes or characters or features. That really bothers me, because I feel like when you're paying for features that really should be unlockable, it sort of takes away the suspense of a game, in the sense that, you know, you are having, because for me it's like when I'm playing fighting games or most games, what I really like is knowing I can unlock hidden features, because there's this suspense of not knowing what you're gonna get, and of course just the feeling of obtaining a reward after beating, say, arcade mode in Tekken. That for me is one of the things I really enjoy about games. So now we're going to move on to the King of Fighters series. I only have 2 games at the moment. So we have the controversial King of Fighters 2003. The reason this particular game in the series is controversial is because we have an anti-hero in Ash Crimson, who leads the new hero team in this particular game. I do like his character. He does have a feminine look, but it's quite an interesting change from protagonists like Kyo Kusanagi or K-Dash, who was introduced back in King of Fighters 99. And I think it's because, you know, with characters like Ash, you don't really suspect that they can fight, but then once you know they can fight, it throws you off. So that's why I like him as a protagonist in King of Fighters 2003. We also have King of Fighters 11, which introduces a couple of interesting hidden characters like Gai Tendo from the obscure Buriki 1 series that I believe was also made by SNK. And then of course you have Shion, who looks a little like Yuriran from Daraku Tenshi if he dyed his hair. But I like his fighting style. You know, he changes between using a quarterstaff to using, I can't remember if it's, I I don't know, is it like some sort of bladed fighting style of some sort? Because he has like a blade type weapon with a string that he utilizes and does gymnast inspired moves. So I like characters like that. They're pretty unique. But I don't like Momoko, who's in the Psycho Soldiers team, because her voice really annoys me. I can't stand her in this game. Her voice is so annoying. So yeah. And then moving on, we have another recent purchase in fighting games, Capcom vs SNK 2. I love the soundtrack in this. I really adore the soundtrack in this. I like the soundtrack for the Shanghai stage in particular. And I'm trying to think, is it the Aomori stage? I like that one as well. But you have some nostalgia coming in. You have most of your favorites from the Capcom series, of course your staples like Ryu and Ken and Chun-Li, Morrigan from Darkstalkers, although why they used an outdated sprite for her in this game I don't really know, because the inconsistency kind of bothers me in terms of the sprite quality. And you know, you've also got your SNK staples as well, like Kyoko Tsunagi, Terry Bogard, who came in Fatal Fury as well. You have Mai Shiranui, who also came in the Fatal Fury series, one of my mains, who I really adore. And in King of Fighters 14, which I have for the PlayStation 4, there's this cutesy pink Kunoichi outfit for Mai that I really love using because I love pastels. But this is an underrated title. And here is your box art as well. And then we're going to move on to the rest of my PlayStation games. So we now have most of the Devil May Cry games. This is another amazing title. And the outfits that Dante has in all the games, absolutely epic. The Devil May Cry 3 outfit is my favourite. So we have the first Devil May Cry, which I believe inspired Resident Evil. No, I'm trying to think, because I remember, unless I'm wrong, this game was originally supposed to be another Resident Evil game, and then Capcom made Devil May Cry out of that. And here's your cool box art. Look at the box art, seriously. This is just amazing. Just look at the box art. It just gives you a huge indication of, well, the aesthetics of the game and the title as well. And then you have Trish, her silhouette in the title as well. It's amazing. And then we have the controversial Devil May Cry 2. This features Dante, obviously, because he's the main character in the game. We have another new character, Lucia. So you have two discs. So you have the disc with Dante, and then you have the Lucia disc as well. And Trish is a hidden character. I forgot why this game was controversial. I'm trying to remember. But it was a controversial title in the series. But I don't think this is the worst Devil May Cry title. I think the reboot is, well, I don't think I'm going to talk about that. And then we have Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. So you have two versions of Devil May Cry 3. You've got the original, which I used to have, then I sold it a couple of years ago, and I got Special Edition because, do you know why I got Special Edition? You can play as either Dante in this or Virgil. And Virgil's Devil May Cry 3 outfit is my favourite for him as well. Maybe I'm biased, I don't know, but this, just look at the bloody art. This is my favourite box art. This and the soundtrack. I love Devil May Cry soundtracks, seriously. It's just amazing. There's certain soundtracks or certain songs that I tend to play more. Like for Devil May Cry 3, I think Virgil had two themes. The first one is my favourite. And then the Seven Hells battle, the one in his Dante's shitty office. In his, his dilapidated office. That one's a good one as well. And we have Devil May Cry 4, which kind of changed the game well, it's a game, but what I mean is this changed things a bit because Nero is now the new protagonist in this game. He is the son of Virgil and the nephew of Dante. Kyrie could have been utilized more in the game. I mean, with like Lady and Trish, obviously they were more, especially with Trish, they're more like femme fatale characters, but then I liked them as well. And I know people sometimes like complain about the outfits because they're too showy or whatever, but I mean, then again, I pick characters like Anna in Tekken, and even Shihua, who is a Chinese character in the obscure Kenju game, because I've always liked femme fatale characters. I mean, there's a lot I main. Cindy in Kensei Sacred Fist. Then there's Garnet in the Rumblefish, I like her. Jenny in Bloody Roar, I like her as well. But yeah, Kyrie should have been utilised more instead of just being like a stereotypical background. I felt like she was just kind of like wallpaper. She wasn't bad, but she was just kind of there. And I don't know, I'm not saying she needed to be a fighter, but I really wish she was sort of developed in terms of character and personality a bit more. But at least in Devil May Cry 5, she had a bit more of a personality going for her or something. But yeah, this is the first Devil May Cry game, I think, that came out for PlayStation 3. So there's that. And then last but not least, Need for Speed Underground for PlayStation 2. This one is a nostalgic title that I bought in the gaming market because I used to play this with my dad on his PlayStation 2 as a kid. So I remember I used to spend ages customizing the cars, and I was a crap driver as well, so I purposely crashed into my dad's car so I could like get ahead when we used to race each other. I haven't really played this in a while, but I really should, because this kind of makes me revisit my childhood a lot. So yeah, this is Need for Speed Underground. I hope you've enjoyed this video, although it's very disorganized like me, and enjoy your weekend. I need to get up because my leg is numb. Bye.